pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trying to slow down, but I can't.
All right. Next up on the agenda is the City of Herington's recognition of Commissioner Michelle Stanford. Michelle is outgoing this year, but we do want to give her a big thank you for her service to the community from May 2014 until this is her last meeting, February 28th.
I'm so great. I don't need the box.
Hey, Cynthia.
Actually, yes. Good bubble wrap is worthwhile. It gets too boring.
Alright, number 3, consider minutes of the meeting of December 19, 2017.
I make a motion, we approve the December 19th meeting minutes. Second.
Discussion?
Commissioner Nestle?
Aye.
Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Commissioner Stanford?
Aye.
Commissioner Hager?
Aye.
Mayor Silver?
Aye. Discuss and review appropriation ordinance number P1215-17 and P1229-17. We'll go ahead and move on to public forum. Carla Mann. Hi, Carla, and can you tell us why you're here to speak to us tonight?
About the houses in this town that aren't being, the trash is not being cleaned up, the ordinances against it, what it takes to get a property cleaned up. It's full, and I don't know if you guys see my letter in the paper at 205 North 10, we didn't get a chance to go look at that property, and it's getting worse. It wasn't even that bad 2 years ago. Now it's triple. The land behind and everything, the guy was told when he bought it, it was supposed to be cleaned up, and he has tripled. Just garbage everywhere. In the house, around the house, the land behind it, abandoned vehicles, broken down vehicles, everything. What's it take to get this property cleaned up? I've been trying for 3 years now to get it cleaned up. What's it take? Do we not enforce the ordinances the town has, or what?
Scott, have you taken a drive by this house? What's going on?
Yes, a certified letter was sent on that property just a week ago after I was notified, which was in that letter to the editor.
Okay.
So I did go out and assess the property, which is, Lexi says that's terrible. The certified letter went out, and I just gotta wait for either 30 days that they don't pick it up, or they sign for it, and the starts from that date forward.
Well, the guy got my renter, when the renter gave me my phone number, because he wanted to talk to me. And I says, you can come where I live, I don't care. I said, I'll give him a piece of my mind, you know. He knows about it. He knew about it when he bought the property, because Kitty Ray wrote up that property for 3 years straight to every owner that's owned it. And the guy knew it when he bought it, that he was told it had to be cleaned up. So he knows about the property. And he just ignored, he just added more and more and more to it. You know,
If
It's
it ain't-
awful, it's
If it ain't
awful.
done in the legal time limit, they will go to court. I don't mess around.
That's all I want to say.
Okay, we're on it. Thanks, Carla. Ryan Stevenson regarding sidewalks.
Hello. I come in here last week and talked with Kathy and Ed about this. The city has a sidewalk violations program or something like that. And I know it's to residential and business districts. As you all know, we've been cleaning up, me and Danielle have been cleaning up the city trail through town. I've got with various residents and runners, walkers, citizens alike would ask for a paved trail through town from Richard Bridge, meaning 77, to the UP Bridge. Is the city still honoring this program, and will they, if I do all the work and have work groups for this, is this something that the city will honor and put a sidewalk in through town, basically? I asked Ed, and he said bring it up in here, but I don't see Ed, so I came in and I
He's
brought it
sick
up.
tonight.
Yeah,
The one thing that I think could be a potential issue is that property is not owned by the city. And the program is for property owners. If they create their sidewalks, if they fix their sidewalks, then they're able to have kind of a reimbursement for the cement. Not anything else, just the cement portion of that. So basically what you're asking is if you get all the framework, you've got the volunteer, would the city be willing to assist with the cement portion?
Got a lot of potential.
It does, it
See,
absolutely.
I really like the thought.
It absolutely does, and the cement,
I could see there maybe
Really
being some
isn't the
sort of
biggest cost.
financial thing, maybe, I mean, it'd have to be checked through and everything. I don't think labor-wise we could actually provide help being it's private
no,
property.
that's what he's saying.
he's saying.
He
No,
would get his own
labor-
people.
Labor would be all volunteer work.
Okay.
We are years out from there being anything able for our community to walk on. We
Yeah,
can't walk
it's
our
gonna
railroad
take,
slate. They will recover it once we get the trail done from Herington, 26.4 miles to Council Grove. The state's stepping in. This, as far as finances go for our equipment that we need, clearing the trail, we have that part covered. We have backing and people involved with the state to do that. We've already talked to them and there's another meeting this week, but we want it to be used by everybody and not just the people who do this stuff. So we want elderly people to be able to walk on it and eventually tie it into the North Park to where we have a reason to come to Herington and a reason to end here, but nobody wants to be on this trail in the condition it's in. And we have nothing to offer them when they end the trail here. So if we had a reason where you could actually do that and you had a place to take your children besides under the bridges where we have bums living, then that would be wonderful because we do appreciate everybody caring for these people, but nobody cares to clean up the crap behind them but Ryan and I. So we do have a lot of work to get even to the point of the city offering to pour that or help us with that, but we have to make sure that we have everything else in line for you guys to do that.
I just know in years past, we had so much set aside for the sidewalk program,
And they did
and I don't,
10,000 a year.
yeah.
Well, I don't think we'd do it on the sidewalk program, that would just be a special expense that we would have to consider, but I don't think that takes away from the merit. It just,
No.
we have to look at how
really
much
do
it's gonna
think it's a
cost. and-
fantastic idea.
I think it'd be worth the.
I'd actually like to see it expanded eventually to go clear to the lake. That's something I push for.
I was
Since
some
getting
people have
on.
said something to me about, it'd be cool if you could walk out to the lake.
Yeah.
It's really not that far.
No, it's just not easy.
Actually, our trail is tied into the coast-to-coast trail that majority is not knows about, where it's 117 miles across Kansas. But we're the tail end of the trail that doesn't connect to the coast-to-coast. They just butt up at the same location at the beginning, and they can come our trail. And as far as we know, everything's online that we end in Herington, and it doesn't end in Herington. It ends in Council Grove. And I know that the Myers have worked on this for at least, 8 years probably, and you see where they've gotten with our community. We have a little bridge on D Street, and that's where they got.
I have, actually, the Meyer residents, we got a meeting Thursday to discuss future plans of working through the town. So we're gonna be going through state assistance, starting at Barnes Thursday morning, and traveling east out as far as we can go for that. Yeah, my main concern is right now, we're tackling on the whole
Yeah.
project from the UP yard here all the way to Council Grove. We're not asking for, you guys come out and clear a trail with us. It's just the city part of the trail. We're trying to make it clean. We was out there yesterday, we cleaned up the residents that previously lived there. So that's all cleaned up and people can actually use that portion now. There is a new residence took place, but we ran him off yesterday. But yeah, it's just, like she said, it's not like we're gonna go out tomorrow and put frames down, expect you guys February to have a working sidewalk through there. It's something that, you know, long-term plans.
We don't have a concrete plant anymore.
Yeah.
Well, most of the concrete you ordered locally wasn't coming from our local plant anyway, because it didn't make any sense to fire it up if you're pouring 10 yards. You just. It's a good idea. Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think it's a great idea. I think that the one thing everyone is kind of being mindful about is the cost it's going to take, which means that we'll need an approximation of how long you're looking at, how
How many
wide the side, how many yards of,
Well, we can figure that out. We just need the length. And then width, depth, we'll go through all of that on our own. We just need to know the length, this many linear feet.
Yeah.
Then we calculate
Figure
the
it out from
yardage and
there.
then plan for it in FY19 budget. I mean, FY18 might be possible, but 19 would be a whole lot easier.
I agree.
I think 19 would be more feasible for, you know, a sidewalk being ready to pour in. You know, I mean, we're still at the beginning stages right now. We just clear cut and burn up all the trash, so it's nowhere near.
Yeah, we just need to know how long it is from
I think
bridge
so
to
long
bridge.
as we stay in good communication, we'll probably be okay. Rick, you have a
Okay.
question?
Yeah, I brought this up to the CVB a couple months ago, and then we invited Ryan and the Myers to a CVB meeting, and they had a representative there from Conza Trail, and Ryan jumped all over this project like he does, and has already done a lot. And we appreciate that, but also, besides trying to get the city help, the CVB is looking at trying to do something to help them too. We're looking at possibly financing some tree kill spray and stuff like that. And that'll be coming up at our budgeting meeting later this month. So we're trying to make this a joint project. Hopefully the state will be able to get involved financially and start doing this end of the trail sooner than expected, but that's, we're the last section. Of course, we're the end of the trail, but we're the last section for the state to get involved in. But once the state gets involved, they will do the main trail part between here and Junction City with they don't use concrete, but they use a certain kind of bedding that is about as smooth as concrete, and you can ride bikes on it, walk on it, and not have to worry about twisting your ankle. So hopefully it's something that will be very beneficial for the city once it's done, because it'll bring a lot of people in here.
I agree.
And it'll, you know, the trail right now from Council Grove down to, I think it's Eudora or Ottawa or someplace down there, is used a lot. And ever since they got it finished Council Grove has seen an influx of business due to the trail. And Council Grove, they're one of their civic organizations concreted part of their trail there in town at their ending. So it's a real good plan for the community.
I think we're all on board.
Okay, sounds good. I'll just go ahead and keep progressing. And
Absolutely.
who is my point of contact? Is it Ed? Is it the board? Is it Dave by default?
I mean, we like to throw him under the
Yeah.
bus.
So you just want me to keep
Yeah, keep in
checking in
contact
here?
with Ed. If you don't hear anything back from Ed, maybe CC one of us.
Okay.
Or do that anyways.
Yeah.
Sounds
We'll
good.
do that
Thank you.
anyways.
All right, thanks.
Thank you both for all the work you've already done.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right. Kevin, I don't want to butcher your last name.
Kelzer.
Kelzo. Mr. Kelzo.
Kelzer.
Kelzer.
How you guys doing?
Doing well.
I'm with Midway Farms. We rent from you guys. We have for the last 9 years, I guess.
Okay.
And I've been working with Ed about building a new facility out at the airport. and it started in August, actually. And I've gone through, done everything he's asked, and then we went and hired an engineer to have the surveying done. And, because that's why he told me you just need to know how many acres it was once it was surveyed. So I spent the $4,000 to have it surveyed. And actually, I should go back, we've had meetings with Merlin and Ed.
Okay.
And I bought a building. They told us to go ahead and have it delivered because it was gonna be a go. I went and had the surveying done. Ed had the surveys for about 30 days. And I stopped here last Thursday and Ed told me that Tiffany's cattle had a last right of refusal on the piece of property they wanted to rent. And which it's never been discussed, just because it was never an issue. And now, I guess, I went and talked to Merlin, and he told me to talk to Mr. Jones, and I went and saw him, and he said to come here and voice my concerns. So I'm basically $40,000 into this project. Ed did call me today, and asked me how long a lease I wanted, and I said, do I have a lease? He goes, well, there's multiple other leases I still have to look at. And I don't understand, because with due diligence, we've started this 4 months ago. We should have crossed this bridge way before now. And every time I come to a meeting, I get a different story. So I have to figure out where I'm at.
You've got one piece of property at the airport now.
Yes, and our lease runs out in November.
Right.
And when we came
November
here,
of next year,
this year,
of this year.
yeah.
Yeah, this is 2018.
It's 2018,
It is-
yeah,
it is
yeah, like 10 months
Actually,
ago.
when we first came here, Ron was here, and Ron tried to have us go out to where we wanted to go now.
Right.
Well, we just didn't have the whereabouts of the finances at the time, and we
Right.
put the plan where it is, and things have progressed and gone well. So I want to build a new facility that looks nice, so we can do a proper job the way it's supposed to be done, and get back. You know,
Are you
the city
guys-
can have a building back to rent again, and I'm going to build my own.
Are you guys the little building that sits behind US Stone?
Yep.
Okay.
We make alfalfa cubes.
Yep, yep. That's what I thought.
So, you know, and in the way it's set up, we don't have enough room.
Yeah.
And it's not
Right.
anything, it looks terrible, and I hate it, and I don't want to fix that. But that's why we started this in August, and thought we'd just go ahead. So we came in, had multiple meetings. They said it's a go, so I bought a building, had it delivered, because it was fine. And then, as I said, last Thursday I came in, because I just came to see if the lease was done, and he said, well, we have Tiffany's, this is the last right of refusal. And actually, Tiffany's called me today, and said that they were contacted by Ed 2 weeks ago.
Now, just for everybody's clarification, you're going in, the piece of ground you're talking about is on the south side of the airport?
Be to the east side.
The east side?
You've got.
Right, you know where
you've got-
Tiffany's entrance is?
Right.
The gates where all that, the pipeline people left, all
Okay.
that, I can't think of the word right now, but it's right there at those gates,
Okay.
at the end of 2400.
You know who the last lease was on that property?
Well, last lease would have been the pipeline people had the rigging, put all their stuff there.
And the only reason I bring that up is because he's being told that Tiffany's has first right of refusal, and that would only be true if Tiffany's had the lease on it. They don't have and never have had a lease on this property, so.
Yeah,
No,
that
it
was
wasn't
my
part that-
question. That's what I didn't understand, I just found out after we've been 4 months into this
I'm
process.
sorry, I'm asking leading questions.
Oh, no, you
Sorry.
are, but no, that's exactly right, and that's what I brought up to John. that I
Well,
was
we
like,
did do something with Tiffany's, what, a year and a half ago? Were you on the commission?
I don't remember, but I was in the meeting, I was sitting out there. I
Okay,
remember
yeah,
They
because there was
expanded their
something.
enterprises significantly,
Yeah.
but this is not.
This is
part
still
of that.
not, okay, that's what I was gonna ask, is
I
this
think,
part
I think
of
it was
what
on the
we-
other end to the north, they added on some more.
Because I've seen no maps or anything on this, so I'm not real sure. I'm trying to picture in my head, which is not that great out there by the airport.
It's, you know where the racetrack is?
Mm-hmm.
Just to the north of that.
Okay, yeah. All right,
That's-
just past the.
And then, we went through, how much space would be left for them, and so we've narrowed down to 800 feet, which everybody agreed upon, and that's what I had. Well, Ed asked me to hire Call, so I hired Call Valley to come in and survey it for the boundaries and the site plan, and I had all that done. He has the plan, we've had it for 30 days.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it, I talked to Merlin doesn't understand what he's trying to do, and I guess Mr. Jones said I should come here.
Hey Dave, Well, do you know something I don't know about this? No? So you don't know?
No, when speaking to Kevin before, he was saying, well, this and this and this, and you start pulling the thread on a little bit, okay, who had the last lease on it? And that was a different company. Tiffany's has never been in there. It's not part of their expansion. So where's the first right of refusal coming from? And why is it taking 4 months? And it's the first that the commission is hearing about any of this.
And apparently the first our attorney is hearing about any of this.
Because he's looking just as confused as we are.
Hence why I
had like,
suggested that
look.
he come here and
Yeah.
Tell us all at the same time.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Well, because that's what I was searching
Yeah,
everybody out. Well,
that's-
Merlin told me to search out commissioners, and I found Dave. And then I said, should I go find anybody else? He said, just come to the meeting.
Yeah, it's a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
Then we all get the same story at the
Exactly.
same time.
My
we can all have this dumbfounded look.
The same one I had. But so that's where I'm at, guy. I just
What was the last answer that you received from the city?
Her poor face.
from Ed
Well, on behalf of the city, yes, sir.
that it's a go. All I got to do is once I had the plans drawn up, they know how many acres to write up the lease for, and it's
So now
6.5.
Now it's a go.
That's what I was told.
Okay,
But I,
and then when were you given that answer?
when Merlin and I and my father and Ed all had a meeting, I can go back to my notes. It was I hired called like the 1st of October.
It was brought up at the department head meeting a couple times.
Because we were looking at for water, there was we could get a well permit or something like that,
Right.
and that's
So-
and I've never found out what.
Because I didn't, last I knew, they weren't even sure it was doable. And I knew all I knew was Ken and Ed were talking back and forth.
Maybe
David
like there was a
Kirby.
concern of if we have enough water rights out there.
Yeah, the water was an issue.
That's
There
all
were
right.
a couple other things that were major things that we were gonna have to do.
I'll address that. Yes, they were talking about bringing water out, and I think the city said it would be $40,000. And I said, well, that's fine. We'll truck our own water because we don't. Only thing we use water for is cubes, and we don't go through enough to worry about. And sewer, we're just going to bring, because mostly it's warehouse and everything. We'll porta potty for now, and we go that way. And then we talked about Ed about just trenching our own line, a 2-inch line from the city, distribution spot there up the. It's about a mile. Because the city wanted 40,000, and I could put my own water line for 3. So we do the same thing that we need done. And then, the city, I understand, they were planning on future development, so they got to put it in for sewer and everything else like that. So that's something with water. But we went across that. I said, don't worry about water. We will take care of ourselves on that. I just need spot.
I just remember there was several
Yeah,
red,
that's
there were
right.
several red.
And
there was
then
more than
I
just
believe
that.
Ed was, but Dave was going to see if he could get a water permit. We might drill our own well.
But the last answer you got from Ed was just to go.
That's what I was told. That's what I was told my father's here, Steve. And we sat in the meeting with Ed, Merlin, and him and I, and they said, yes, it's a go. Get the engineers in here, get it designed. So then like I said, I stopped last Thursday. I got told a whole new story. He said, first of all, they had last right of refusal. And I said, so when is that up? And he said, well, there's no ending date. I said, that doesn't work. He said, there has to be an ending date. So we talked a little bit, and he goes, January 16th. And so, then Mr. Tiffany called me today, and he said, no, it's not how that all went. That's where I'm at.
First, Mr. Counselor,
Yeah.
I want to apologize.
Well,
No, I really want to apologize to you because this is not how business should be handled, number one. Unfortunately, we don't know anything about this.
I understand. That's why,
It's not the first time issues come up.
that's kind of where I said the true diligence should have been in August when if there was something come up, we should have talked about before I bought a building and spent the money on, dump $40,000 on a project that just sits here.
Are you taking notes for Ed's? I think we need a brief
Yes.
Yeah,
on
but
what's the rest of the story? What's the other side? What do we not know? Why? 4
What does
months?
he see that we're not understanding why in the world
Why
this is
isn't
even
our
an
attorney
issue?
being? That's my big thing, because he's the one who's supposed to write the leases anyway.
Yeah.
And considering it's already been 4 months, the
Yeah, he
interest
should
would
have
be
already
nice
had
to
that.
have fairly quickly, so that maybe, the next
There's
meeting.
something
there's
to come up.
be
Like
done.
you said, you spent $40,000.
I
I'm
know.
not okay with this.
No.
I didn't want to come here, but I,
No, I'm happy you did.
I fully understand not wanting to come here, but I really appreciate the fact that you did. Because this not only allows us to help you as we move forward, but also shines a pretty little light on some things that we didn't know about.
I understand. That's why I came.
My eyes twitching so bad.
We just need to get the rest of the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he could, Merlin was gonna come, but he was something right at the end of this evening, so I,
Now, understanding, of course, that if we were to move, if we're approved moving to a new location, clean up the old location and everything.
oh yeah, well, yeah,
Part
we'll
of
get it
that.
back the way it was. Oh, both, yeah. Everything that we brought there, we'll get it all back out, get it all back out. We can rent it back out.
16 days. I am going to hope and cross my fingers that by our next meeting on the 16th, we will have a definitive answer.
Why don't you give his contact information, and that way we can let him know if he should show up at the next meeting, or rather
Spell your
than waste
last
the
name.
time of
K.O.
being here half the night.
E-L-Z-E-R.
Spell it one more time.
K-O-E-L-Z-E-R. Just
I left
forget the
O
L,
out.
is all you gotta do.
Yep, I left the O out.
Before you leave, could you just drop your contact information with Brenda, with me? I'll give you
Yeah.
a piece of paper if you want to write it down right here.
That's why I recommend you come to the meeting, because that was a whole lot easier than me trying to explain
Oh, yeah.
what I didn't really understand.
And you don't understand what you better do.
And I'm going to say that it's answers on tables.
I know,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I know that there's more to this.
Oh, yeah.
There has to be.
There's 4
But
months more.
Well, that there's other issues that need to be addressed, but not 4 months worth of issues, just consideration.
Thank you.
Hey, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any agenda deletions, additions?
Do we need to? I don't know, what about number 13?
13.
Okay, so we're good there. 15 would be, the only one I could think of would be 22.
Is that
You don't
something
read it. If that's something you guys want to discuss, or do you want to?
Discuss what we, I think we should
Really not,
discuss. That's fine.
especially since this is your last meeting.
Well, you'll never follow my opinions anyway.
We listened to him at least.
We totally listen.
Any additions? I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Nestle?
Aye.
Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Commissioner Stanford?
Aye.
Commissioner Hager? Mayor Susan? Aye. He just sounds like,
He's really loaded.
he just sounds grumpy and irritated.
No?
Oh, okay.
No, it just, that might be, it sounded a little off today.
Okay.
Only said bye.
Consider an ordinance declaring it necessary to make certain water system improvements, to authorizing and directing the acquisition of construction of said improvements, and providing for the payment of the cost thereof, and authorizing and providing for the issuance of temporary improvement notes from time to time as funds are needed for the orderly construction of said improvements if necessary. Those are the words. Is there an easier way to explain that?
Well, it's basically, what we're doing is trying to pass an ordinance that will allow us, if needed, to put out for bonds to help with our portion of financing the new water plant. That's basically all it is.
Yeah, right. Go, Buck.
I think too, what some of this bond, and I haven't talked to Ed for a couple of weeks, but, the community, or the USDA grant that you guys have received requires some type of backing as far as a loan, like collateral and whatnot, and these bonds are that backing for that agreement. I don't expect for us to really draw on that, at least from what I can tell, USDA is picking up the loan. The loan is a 40-year loan at, you know, whatever interest rate it is now. I know the last time we talked, it was like 2.3% a little while ago, so it may have went up a little from then. But, I believe that's what this is for the backing of that USDA loan.
Yes, what I read.
And it's just one step in our process, I think, as we're getting closer.
I know, we're inching closer.
18 months. Yeah.
We're inching closer, and this is.
Gonna be nice.
Cause like our second meeting is when we went and looked at the water plant.
It's been rough, trust me. We've been through every hoop there possibly can imagine. We went through environmental assessments. But the good news is that you guys have gotten some loan forgiveness out of the situation. And when you look at the value of that as it relates to your finances and rate structures and so forth, that makes the pain and suffering a little more tolerable. I do look forward for, hopefully shortly, I think we should be able to move forward here.
Are we getting close to bringing this thing home?
I think so. I think your next item on the agenda is to sign the loan applications for KDUG, which gives you the money in hand to basically start the process. I thought our engineering services agreement was going to be on this agenda. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it, Brad, or anybody, but okay. I'll get with Ed to see what we need to do to get that forwarded on to you. I know we worked with Brad to get some mediator. You know, I'll tell you, it's a thick son of a gun, but it ain't my doing. If it was me, it would be a couple pages, we'd sign it and go on, but
It's government, they put
it is
everything,
government.
including
We've
the
got a bunch
kitchen
of
sink in
USDA
there.
stuff in it, and it is a standard document. It is an engineering joint contract document that's used all over the place for, you know, projects similar of this, but it is pretty thick, but we do have that in, and we'll get that submitted. I know USDA's approved it. I worked with Tandy on the insurance requirements that met you guys, and we got that all squared away and exactly what she wanted, and again, we got the mediator stuff and whatnot, so I hope that maybe next meeting, we can have that in front of you guys for approval, and that, as soon as we get signature on that, I know all of us are ready to move forward. Kind of our plan would be to start that, to get the construction of that electrical building done this summer.
Yeah.
And then January, we'd have been letting, or we'd be starting construction right after that. So we're ready to go. We just need to get all the ducks in a row, so.
Yeah.
We'll move forward.
Linda, are you putting that on your list, or Brad, you putting that on your list? For next meeting? With the engineer service agreement?
I will make a motion, we approve ordinance number 1797.
Second?
Discussion? Brenda? Commissioner Nestor?
Aye.
Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Commissioner Stanford?
Aye.
Commissioner Hager?
Aye.
Mayor Stevens?
Aye. Number 8, consider an ordinance authorizing the execution of a loan agreement between Herington, Kansas and the state of Kansas, acting by and through the Kansas Department of Health and Environment for the purpose of obtaining a loan from the Kansas Public Water Supply Loan Fund for the purpose of financing a public water supply project, establishing a dedicated source of revenue for repayment of such loan, authorizing and approving certain documents in connection therewith, and authorizing certain other actions in connection with the loan agreement.
Make a motion, we approve ordinance number 1798.
Second.
Discussion? Brenda? Commissioner Essman?
Aye.
Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Commissioner Stanford?
Aye.
Commissioner Hayner?
Aye.
Mayor Souza?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you. Progress.
Thanks, Bob.
I was really hoping we'd get everything passed tonight so I could at least say yes, I was there for all the bad.
I got a copy of it if you want to pass it.
Ain't got time to read that
I
one
was gonna
tonight.
I
say,
still
we'll be here
have
for an
the
hour
original
just
one.
reading.
That is the contract.
Oh, good.
Goodness, okay, I guess I can't say I'm gonna miss having to read all that before the next meeting.
I'm thinking an email would be.
Super excited. Made my eyeball. Alright, number 9, Gary Young regarding City Ordinance 1640, Chapter 11, Article 3, Section 2304, 2006 International Fire Codes, and 2006 International Property Maintenance Code. How you doing, Gary?
I'm well. I spoke with Ed and also with Scott recently in regards to this property that I have a deed on it, 801 North D. I purchased the property about 3 years ago and haven't been able to do any major construction to the property. I believe Scott passed out a list of things that he found during an inspection that needed to be taken care of, and I don't dispute any of his findings. I would request that we let this carry on till probably about the middle of March, in which time work is going to be done on the project, and some of the things will involve permits, so inspections will be taking place during that time where Scott can evaluate that we're making some progress on this list of items. And if need be, we come back here after that point and discuss if things have proceeded as needed or if further action needs to be done on your part.
The second meeting in March would be March 20th.
Is anybody living at the house, Gary?
I'm actually selling the property on contract to a gentleman who moved in there about a month ago.
Okay, and that would be my only concern is, now you've got somebody living in a house that,
We know does not meet code.
right. As long as we get the outside of the house cleaned up, I don't see a problem with giving extensions, and obviously it takes a while to clean stuff like this, but there again, my concern, you've got somebody who's now occupying a house that is a hazard, doesn't meet code, there's safety concerns. If it was an unoccupied home that was being renovated, got it, but we're not talking about an unoccupied construction site, we're talking about a residence. That's my only concern. Other than that, as long as the outside is cleaned up, the visual nuisance portion, I understand the inside's gonna take time, the structural component.
Does the individual that you're selling this on contract to have another place of residence, or is this it?
No, this is what's the rest. He wasn't available to be here, otherwise I've had him here with me. But with my name being on the deed, I'm technically the responsible party. Without going into great detail on his intent, I do know that he conveyed to me in this next 30 days, his intentions are sealing the interior of the property to cover the fire damage and some structural issues that are listed there. He also has windows purchased, which, weather permitting, of course, this is kind of a rough time of the year to start pulling windows out of the house. we did some a couple weeks ago, so it's not impossible. But his intentions are to have those done in the next 30 days, weather permitting, so. The sealing of the interior will, I think, cover a big portion of what your concern was, as far as having someone living in the property. All of you have driven by it, so you know it's quite a nice one. Once the windows are in, of course, they'll be able to repair the siding on the outside. The ice will start to go away. I really don't have anything to add to this, so.
Do you want to give him 30 days and then have him come back and see? Yeah.
Do you have anything to add?
The only thing I would add is we definitely need to make sure that pool gets cleaned up properly. Because as I stated in there, if that pool is gonna be filled, we can't fill it with the debris that comes out of the home.
No.
That just fills, it allows for sinkholes later on. And they do have requirements to fill swimming pools.
Yeah, and part of that is to jackhammer some holes in the bottom of it, so it won't become quicksand, essentially.
All the debris will have to come out.
Yeah, oh yeah, me too.
My only other issue, and I don't know how to address it, but with the gentleman living there, and I expressed my concern. Unfortunately, that's his only place to live, but just like I told them in my meeting with them on my inspection, they're now finding out in firefighter career the carcinogens that they're finding in these structure fires is really affecting us and giving us cancer. We don't know what day, when, or if we'll ever get it. And that's what I'm trying to prevent here by getting everything sealed up. And living in it, I can't prevent that. On the other side, point of that, he has no other place to go, so I don't know what to do on that.
Well, any legal action we want to take, if we were to take any, because him living in there is going to take longer than giving for 30 days to see it.
Brad?
I've got a real concern about any occupancy right based on what I'm reading. We've got multiple health code violations, we've got multiple safety issues. I'd say from start to get wiring and plumbing, I appreciate sealing it, but that doesn't do a thing for all the other issues, plus you have significant fire damage, from what I can see. That's not in fairness to bang it out. I don't have a problem similar to what Dave was saying, giving someone time to get the thing repaired, but having someone live in it while that's going on, it's entirely another animal.
So it kind of sounds to me like we're willing to give 30 to 60 days as far as the cleanup, but we're not willing to approve occupancy.
That's where I hate to do that to a person and be like, sorry, you can't live here, but for their own safety. how do you evaluate?
Had this not come to this hearing, this case would have gone to court. And this would have been expressed to the judge right away. And I would have let the judge make that decision.
What's the electrical supply? It's not a construction fault, is it just directly connected still?
They've got the area that was on fire isolated.
Okay, that's how, because I wondered what started to do it.
That area is isolated from the rest. They began by code, because the house sat empty for more than 2 years, that all has to be brought up to current code.
The plumbing's also.
No.
Suggestions?
stated my opinion, we give them extension on the cleanup, but I'm not on occupancy. I don't see any viable way around that.
Because it's currently occupied, we still have to do notice.
Yeah, I would still proceed on, accelerate that for some type of order.
Could you speak up, please?
Can't speak up, you got all of that.
Get closer to the light.
It's like it's some point of injunction. For safety reasons.
Yeah, I have zero issue with authorizing an extension to get this stuff cleaned up, but when someone's health is in question. I don't know how to do this. You wanna be fair, and you also want people to be healthy.
Well, the thing is, do we even have the ability to say anything over occupancy? Since we have, if there's no paperwork on it or anything,
Yes.
do we have the right, where?
That they have to do home inspection. and they have to
Because
go
it's
to
been
the-
empty for so long, it has to have an occupancy inspection.
Just wanting to make sure. I have a real problem whenever government interferes with people's daily lives anyway, so I wanna make sure that we have something there.
That's what I'm saying, because a lot of them keep moving things.
Gary, how long has he been residing in this house?
4 to 6 weeks, I'm not really sure.
We saw an email about 4 weeks ago that mentioned that Scott was taking a look at it.
I signed a contract with him first week of October. I think it was probably a couple of weeks after that, he had the utilities put into his name, had the water turned on.
How do we get utilities turned on?
Why don't you set it another 2 weeks till the next meeting, see what we can do and figure out. We'll have to look at what alternatives are. I understand the problem. I just can't sit here and just tell you to allow occupancy.
Cases like that, there's a reason why we have a certificate of occupancy.
Is that fine with everybody to table it for 2 weeks? I'll make a motion that we table, this issue until the next meeting. Somebody gonna second that?
Second. Discussion.
I'm gonna say, it's not what I wanna do, I don't know if I was gonna live there for 2 weeks, but I feel like we need Brad to look at.
Well, and that gives him a little bit of notice, because I really hate to say, okay, you're homeless tonight, and it's
And
really
that's-
cold.
That's my thing is, I don't wanna make this person homeless. Is
I
that worse for
I'm
them
sorry,
living
in good
there?
conscience, I couldn't do that today.
And that's where I stand.
Gary, would you be able to have him come with you for the 16th?
Yes. Well, assuming he's available.
Brenda?
Commissioner Nessler? Commissioner Jones? Commissioner Stanford?
Aye.
Commissioner Hager?
Aye.
Mayor Souza?
Aye. Alright, number 10, consider resolution for 2018 fixed asset accounting. This is a resolution that we do every year. confused on it except for the dates. It just says, whereas the city of Herington, Kansas has determined that the financial statements and financial reports for the year ended December 31, 2018, to be prepared in conformity with the requirements of KSA 75-1120 AE, are not relevant to the requirements of the cash basis and budget laws of the state, and are of no significant value to the Herington City Commission or to members of the general public of the city of Herington, Kansas.
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution 899.
Second.
Now I need to count just a second, I've got everybody's name on my agenda one more time.
Why is it- I mean, we say that we do this every year, but what's the history behind this and why do we do it?
Well,
Is it-
it's
it's
the
been-
kind of accounting that we do.
It's been a
It
year
takes
ago
us
since
out
we
of
talked
that-
about
Is it out of the, is it gap or is gap? It's out of the, it takes us out of,
What amounts to traditional multi-financial costs you have to do a cash basis on accounting, public entities to something Kansas adopted decades ago. And in order for us to do it that way, since generally accepted accounting principles are under the order, you have to declare that's your, not just something that's required.
I'll probably ask the same question next year, because I've already forgot.
When it's only a one-year thing, yeah, I had to ask 3 years ago or so.
Brenda? Commissioner Nestle? Aye. Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Commissioner Stanford?
Aye.
Commissioner Hager?
Aye.
Mayor Susan?
Aye. Consider amending the current 2006 edition IBC and ICC codes in the city code book to the 2015 edition of the same to include NFPA 70-101 ISET and 2017 NFPA 1911 codes.
I'm sorry, I think Scott wanted that to be changed to the series. And, I changed so many things on this that I didn't get it changed. So he wanted it to the 2015 series to include, and then, I don't know, did you want to